So as a small used car dealer, when demand goes down and we're not selling as many cars, we lower our prices. And when you do that, this is what happens. I'm pretty much out of cars. And it's not like in the last couple of weeks we haven't been buying any. We've actually been buying some cars, but because we've been keeping our prices low, because I know that economic demand is way down and there's less money in the system, we're just initially marking our cars pretty cheap whenever we're putting them out after we buy them from the auction, and we're selling more than we can buy right now. And you know what? Tesla's doing the exact same thing. So Tesla just went through another round of price drops, and it's not the first price drops of the year, and it's likely not going to be the last round of price cuts for their vehicles. And I'm not sure why they just keep doing these small price cuts and just continuously do them. I don't know if it looks better for their shareholders maybe to do these small price cuts instead of just one massive price drop. Maybe they're just trying to find the sweet spot where the demand and the price just kind of meet up. Either way, Tesla sees something bad in their numbers. They see that demand is going down, and Elon is saying, you know what? We're going to make less profit per car, and we're going to sell more cars. That's what our plan is. That's what we're going to do. And that is the exact opposite of what the whole car industry is doing. All the other OEMs, all the other franchise dealers, what they're doing is they want to make more per car right now, and Tesla's going the complete opposite way. And I myself have never been the biggest Tesla or Elon Musk fanboy, but I believe right now, this is exactly what they need to do, and they're doing this the right way, and all the other manufacturers, they're going to figure out that they have to do this too, and it's going to come later, and Tesla is already starting, and they're going to be in the lead. As far as the EV space is concerned, they're already in the lead, and now they're just kneecapping all of their competitors, because as their prices are coming down, you know what, Ford with the Mach-E, their prices are actually being pushed up, even though they've said that they wanted to lower the MSRPs of their Mach-Es just to be competitive with Tesla. What's happening is these franchise dealers are adding market adjustments on top of it. So it doesn't even matter what Ford wants to do. Tesla doesn't have these issues because they're going direct to consumer. And when a consumer sees a Tesla and then the similar version of what they could get out of a Tesla in the Mach-E from Ford, and Tesla's cheaper, and they don't have to deal with the dealers and the market adjustments and the nitrogen and all of the extra add-ons as these dealers are going to try to push to the consumer. Consumer's not going to Ford for this. They're going to Tesla. So what Elon has said in the last earnings call and what he expects to happen is that this economic downturn is going to last about a year. And whether or not you agree with what he's saying on this earnings call about what the future of the economy is going to be, Tesla's taking action right now to prepare for it. And they're doing that with price cuts. And they're not doing it because necessarily they have to right now. They're doing it because they know that they want to get ahead of the curve. They want to be able to move vehicles and still make a massive footprint in this EV space that they've already made, but they want to expand it even more by undercutting their competitors, by making the best product in the EV space right now, which is the Tesla, making it cheaper and making it to where that they can sell more, and they're going to make lifetime customers because they're doing this while the other OEMs are going the opposite way. And they really wanted to put an emphasis on increasing their market share. There's a race going on right now, and whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, the US market is heading towards just expanding the amount of people that are going to be driving EVs. And right now, the number one brand and who is winning the race is Tesla. And by them going ahead and making these price cuts while the other OEMs are trying to keep their margins and keep their prices elevated and sell less cars, Tesla is kneecapping. They are absolutely destroying the market share of these other OEMs whenever they're all going up in price, and Tesla, they're going down in price. And you know what? It's working. On their last round of price cuts, they said that cutting the price helped accelerate the orders that they were getting right after the price cuts were done. So now we've talked about the OEMs that I believe are getting this wrong. So now Jeep, Dodge, Ram, they are being forced to lower prices because the demand is just not there and they have to sell vehicles. You're seeing more incentives come through on a lot of these big name brands, and I've spoke a lot on this channel about how I think Ford is going to be the next one to fall in line with this because they have so many F-150s just sitting around that no one's buying. You're going to have to start seeing incentives. So whether or not these OEMs want to decrease their prices because hard economic times are here, their hand is going to be forced, because if they want to sell any vehicles, they are going to have to start cutting their prices. So now it's just not the car manufacturers that are trying to keep their prices high. It's also these dealers. It's also CarMax. CarMax just reported its earnings, and they're wanting to keep their profits higher because they know they're going to be selling less cars. So they think the answer is to keep their prices high, sell less cars, keep their margins up, and keep their shareholders happy by doing that. And really, it's not the way. They're going to need to sell more cars, so the prices are going to have to come down. So another example of this is AutoNation. They just reported their earnings as well, and they're planning on doing the exact same thing. The wrong answer. I don't know how they're not getting this. If they want to move vehicles, if they want to make money, they have to lower prices. Now, AutoNation is the second largest auto dealer group in the United States. Their net income for this quarter was down a whopping 20%. Their new car sales were down by 2.4%, and their used car sales were down by 15%. That is crazy. They have said that their plan is on driving gross profit. What does that mean? That means make more per car. They want to increase their prices and make more money, sell less cars, make more money per car. They want to be able to take advantage of their customer whenever they get a customer and make as much as they can off that customer instead of lowering their prices and selling more to the masses. So right, we said their used car sales were down 15%, but their used car profits were up 35%. So what they're making per used car is increased by 35%. That's crazy. That's a massive price increase on their used cars. And this is an easy way to see why they're selling way less cars. Is they're just trying to hit a home run on every car. And in the car industry, if you want to move cars, you hit base hits, you hit doubles. You don't need to hit a home run off every single car. And that's what CarMax is doing. That's what AutoNation is doing. That's what Carvana tried to do. And that's what a lot of these OEMs and these franchise dealers are really trying to do. They know that they're going to have less swings, so they are trying to hit a home run with every single car, and it's going to hurt their brands. It's going to hurt the trust that their customer would see in them. And at the end of the day, you're going to lose future customers because a customer is going to go there and feel like they're just getting ripped off when they see these prices that they have to pay comparatively to what they've paid for beforehand. If they were repeat customers, they're going to lose that business as well. So these companies are not going to be making new customers for life, and they're going to be losing customers that they had made prior to all of these crazy times with these price increases. And the last thing with AutoNation, in their parts and services department, their gross profits on those services were up also 11%. So not only are you paying more for your used cars, you're paying more for your new cars, they're making more off of you per sale. They're also making more off of you if you go get your car repaired or serviced at their dealerships. So it's just across the board inflation. Everything costs more: used cars, service, parts, new cars. It's really hurting these manufacturers, it's hurting these dealerships, and they're going to be losing customers because they're just trying to make more money off their customers. All right, so what do we just need to take from these two little headlines is that I'm not the biggest fan of Tesla, but I think Tesla is doing something right, whereas the rest of the car industry is doing it wrong. They are actually trying to meet at where customers are economically right now, and they're bringing their prices down, while the other OEMs, they're trying to keep their prices elevated to make more money off each customer. And as far as these dealerships go, the CarMaxes, the AutoNations, the Carvanas, they're doing really the same thing. They're trying to make more per each used vehicle that they are selling, just to absolutely hit home runs when they need to be hitting singles, they need to be hitting doubles, and trying to move more vehicles, trying to create more customers for life. But really, at the end of the day, these businesses that are traded on a public level, your AutoNation, your Carvana, your CarMax, all that really matters is the share price. They're not going down to the customer level and trying to make a better experience. They're there to serve their shareholders. They're there to try to make their share price go up. And what Wall Street likes is they like to see margins. They like to see them making more money. But really, when you do that in the short term, you're going to hurt your long-term value. And a lot of companies, they have to live quarter to quarter, and that's just the way of the world. And it sucks for the customer. So my recommendation to you is don't shop at these big places that are publicly traded. Go find you local car dealers, some small franchise dealers that are willing to actually give you good deals. Even these new car franchise dealers we've been to, there's some that are selling at MSRP and less than MSRP, even though that's not the norm right there. They're doing that because they actually want to help out the customer. They want to create customers for life. And it's going to take some digging. It's going to take some searching, especially in this environment. But you can find dealers like that. And if you're looking for EVs, there's only one place that I would look for if I wanted an EV. I'm not the biggest fan of EVs, and I don't really talk about EVs a lot on my channel, but just going through the numbers and seeing what Tesla's doing versus what these other manufacturers are doing for their EVs, if it were me and I was in the market for an EV, I would go to Tesla. All right, just to give you guys a little behind the scenes, we do have some cars that we just recently bought that will be coming out soon, but we really haven't been able to buy a ton of cars. We've been able to buy a lot more recently, but the prices at auctions, they're still high. They're coming down, but they're still high, and we're doing the best we can. But what's happening is, because we're pricing our cars so cheap out the door right now, because we know that people just can't afford to spend a lot of money on cars. What's happening is we're getting a lot of business pushed to us right now, and we're selling cars. My sales staff is begging me to get more cars, but I'm not going to pay more money and have cars that we have sitting on our lot that we can't really sell. I would rather be ahead of the market than have some cars sitting on our lot that we're going to have for 2-3 months and then have to drop the prices. So we're still waiting on a lot of the auction prices to drop significantly so we can go ahead and start loading up. We're able to pick and choose here and there right now, but it seems like stuff's turning down. We're seeing more no sales show up at auction. We're seeing the auction prices come down, so we don't think it's going to be very long before we're going to be able to load up again. But this is just a factor of really after tax time. This is usually what happens. This is usually what my lot looks like. Typically, I don't have any cars this time of year, but because tax time was so much poopy, that prices are actually starting to come down more now than they do typically during this time of year, because usually we still have a little bit of a tax time bump going through dealerships, but it just didn't happen this year. So we got about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of tax time this year, and dealerships sold cars and they rushed to auction, and they kept buying for 2 or 3 weeks after that initial tax time bump happened. But now they've got too many cars and they can't really buy anymore, but there's still no inventory in the system. That's what's keeping prices high at auctions still right now. But prices come down. It's only going to be a couple weeks, I think, before we're able to start loading up and get some more cars here. Typically, I like to keep 70, 80, 90 cars throughout the year. If it's not tax time, I like to have about 150. We didn't get we didn't get to that many this year, but we'll try to get back to our like 80-ish to 90-ish amount of cars. Hopefully be there in about a month and a half. But it's going to be harder this year just because of the lack of inventory and prices still a little bit elevated. But as they come down more, we'll start buying more and more and more. So that's what my car lot looks like right now. We're still selling cars, so I get a lot of emails and a lot of concerned comments. We're doing just fine. We're selling a lot of cars still. We're selling just about everything we can buy. So don't worry about us. We keep prices cheap. We sell a lot. We have a lot of repeat, a lot of referral customers. YouTube's doing okay now, and I appreciate all the support that I get from you guys. But yeah, don't worry about our car lot. We're still selling cars, and we're waiting to be able to pounce for when prices come down, and that's when we're going to load up, and then we'll start selling a ton of cars. So that's it.